with Boston probably last in the
Only
line.
$19.99 plus shipping and handling. You'll receive the Quick Connector, Screw Guide 7 Speed Lock Drill Bit, 7 screwdriver bits, and a convenient storage case. Use your Sears card or other credit card and call 1-800-637-9779. Call right now.
Right now, it's your local forecast on the Weather Channel.
Well, these are scenes out of Westchester County, just north of New York City. We continue to see a little bit of improvement, but the snow is starting to pick on up as the storm begins to tighten its grip out across southern areas of New England. Well, good afternoon to you. I'm Rich Johnson here in the Forecast Center. We continue to follow a storm which is actually still developing. We have the combination of snow, sleet, freezing rain. Yesterday in the Mid-Atlantic, you saw it from Cleveland, Columbus, all the way down towards Cincinnati and even Indianapolis. That storm is now heading eastward, so the big cities in the Northeast now picking up the brunt of the storm today. Here's the situation, not a classic nor'easter by any stretch of the imagination. What is going on is that we have a high pressure center actually a little bit off to the north into southern areas of Quebec, and this area high pressure has allowed some very cold air to make its way southward, and that has laid the foundation for the combination of snow, sleet, and freezing rain. Here's the picture today. Snow where that air is a little bit thicker, and actually the cold air is a little bit more extensive. Into Pennsylvania, New Jersey, down to Long Island, we have the mixture because that cold air isn't quite as extensive. Some of the scenes out of Philadelphia showing the mix of the snow, the sleet, the freezing rain. You were out this morning trying to scrape it off your cars, and it's likely to continue through today, but by tonight the storm is going to move up the coast, and that will allow some air to come off the Atlantic seaboard and warm your temps up above freezing. Right now it is still pretty chilly around Philadelphia. It is also cold around New York City. And in Westchester County, we go to Mike Seidel, where temperatures are now in the teens and the snow continues to fall.
Yeah, Rich, we've seen the snow come back to kind of haunt us for the past couple of hours. It's not snowing very heavy, but it is snowing, and it continues to stick on the roadways with temperatures at 12 degrees. We're here on the Westchester County side of the Tappan Zee Bridge, and we're looking north and northwest. Traffic pretty much obeying the speed limit. They've dropped it from 55 down to 35. Obviously because the roads are not in the best of shape today. However, we just had a whole barrage come through of snowplows and trucks. They're now up on the top of the span. You can see the flashing lights maybe in the distance, and that has helped these roadways. So now they're slushy and wet. You can actually see the surface. The roads are not going to get much better for the evening rush hour. I'm sure a lot of locals are trying to hit the roads early and get home before it gets dark, but the precipitation will stick around. We'll see the snow changing over to sleet and freezing rain, and then it will be freezing rain for the interior most of the night. Significant ice accumulations are possible, and you know, we often talk about when there's a lot of ice accumulating on trees and power lines, that extra weight can bring down trees on power lines or can just snap the power lines altogether on its own. So we are concerned about some power outages overnight and tomorrow morning here in the north and west suburbs of New York City. Now in the city, the roads are in pretty good shape right now, and as the warm air starts to return off the ocean later tonight, you'll see your temperatures finally get above freezing by morning, and that will make driving a whole lot better, and walking the sidewalks in Midtown tomorrow will be a lot easier and much easier to navigate than they were today. So improving weather, but it's going to be a slow improvement here in Westchester, Rockland counties, out in Fairfield County, Connecticut, away from the water, and also out in Bergen and Passaic counties. Those areas away from the coast, it's going to be a very long time before it gets up above freezing, sometime mid to late morning on Friday. So again, the rush hour tonight will be slippery, and even tomorrow morning, until you get into the city, look for more ice and snow on the roadways, but primarily a freezing rain event from this point on, from tonight through tomorrow morning. We'll keep you updated from our post here in Tarrytown. And it's back to you, Rich, in the studio.
All right, thanks, Mike. A lot of cold air. It's -6 degrees in Albany up the road from Mike. So with all this cold air off to the north, Mike Seidel is likely to be in for a store of actually the worst part of the storm later tonight as the snow changes over to freezing rain and eventually over to sleet. Primarily snow. That's what is falling across New York State and a large part of New England. That will increase, then eventually change over as the low pressure center makes its way off the coast. We will see winds change over and start to come in from the Atlantic. That will allow significant rain to come in for tomorrow. Around New York City, probably some heavy rain. Over to Boston. Now we're starting to see the snow picking up, and a closer view actually showing two different things going on. Over to the west, the storm coming on in. I think you can see the clouds and the precip increasing this way, but these bands out here, these are lake effect snow band, or I should say bay effect snow bands. Also up toward Cape Ann, we're seeing these bands come in. But one thing that we're not seeing is the heavy snow showing up here, simply due to the fact that clouds and that snow is far from the radar, so it's not really being picked up. The radar beam shoots over top. We had reports out of Abington, 8 to 9 inches of snow. That is in Plymouth County. Apparently some schools canceled and such. Heavy snow coming in down to around Plymouth County. Over to New York City, something of a break right in through here, but that is not going to last very long as precipitation continues northward out of Baltimore and Philadelphia. Still icy conditions across Pennsylvania today. Over to Rochester, New York, we are looking at winds generally blowing out of the east, and many times what we find is that Rochester doesn't pick up the heavy snow because the winds aren't quite right. Today, that is a different story where heavy lake effect snow is